I am the bone of my soul.
Something seems different about you, Emiya. New shoes? Let's talk about Detroit, Emiya. Now, I wasn't really going to bring this up, aside from poking a bit of fun at it in my full Fate Grand Order review, but while I was working on that mastercraft of a video, a trailer for Fate Grand Order's new Shinjuku chapter came out, and Emiya's looking a bit different, and at first I thought nothing of it because, let's be clear, not really getting Emiya Alter's good side in this shot, did they? But now that the full trailer for Shinjuku has come out showing Emiya with a much lighter complexion, and the mysterious absence of Emiya Alter in the NA FGO's YouTube page, people have come to the conclusion that the gunslinger is going to be looking a bit different when he makes his appearance in-game. On top of that, we have Aniplex Localization Director Albert Cow confirming that they have been given the green light from the Japanese side to alter some dialogue regarding the character.
Kaboom!
And my censorship detector has now exploded. So why is this happening? Well, to put it bluntly, Blackface.
Stop it.
Man, what is with this month? 3 negative videos in a row. Can we get some good news? Now that's what I'm talking. Damn it! Honestly, I'm only talking about this for one reason. With all the controversy going around with the anime industry, and I'm not just talking about anime titties being censored, this really shows that the American anime industry is little better than Hollywood, and that just so frustrating that I had to talk about at least something. And hilariously enough, claims of blackface and FGO of all things might be the least controversial topic right now. Now, before we get into Emiya Alter specifically, I want to talk about anime blackface in general that a lot of people, mostly outside the anime community but some within too, believe is a serious problem. Now, if the reasoning behind that was solely based on characters like Mr. Popo, that one character from a recent anime I haven't seen, or my brother Choco Love from Shaman King, I still somewhat disagree because of things inside Japanese culture and folklore, but well, I think we can have a conversation there. Instead, I see people throwing out examples like Evil Ryu, Xehanort, and Goku Black. Goku Black's not even black!
Hold your fire!
But to put it bluntly, them having darker skin, aside from Goku Black again, is what people are having a problem with, and that just tells me they view skin color as some sort of sacred cow that can't be used in fiction to convey things like color psychology. The color black has always been associated with things like evil, death, mystery, and if that's racist, then the weather's racist for having dark and gloomy not being the best time for a family picnic. Not saying it's fine to apply that logic to real living, breathing individuals or groups, but these are drawings, a point that some only seem to remember when it's something they like being attacked. For the sake of argument though, I did ask a friend of mine who is far more knowledgeable in Japanese culture why the whole dark-skinned villain/power-up thing was so prevalent, and while he did basically give me the same rigmarole I just gave you, he also elaborated and said that its use in fiction could stem from ancient civilizations, Greek or whatever, I can't fully remember. He explained that while the rich and influential got to sit around doing fuck all, the laborers had to work tirelessly in the sun, not only making them physically superior, but also tanning their skin. So back then, antagonists having darker skin compared to the hero was a sign that this guy was not someone to be taken lightly. Now, unlike my friend, I'm no historian, and I may have accidentally butchered his explanation, so I can't verify if it's true or not, but it does sound interesting to think about, so I wanted to share that little tidbit. Going back to Emiya Alter, is this simply a case of color psychology on the skin? Nah. To start, this is actually OG Emiya. His alternate future self looks like this. Now, I've actually heard people call this blackface just because of the before and after, but to put it into context, without referencing the color psychology, Emiya's skin is tanned for a lore reason, because in the simplest terms, his own unique magic damages his skin and hair, turning them tan and white respectively. From a more symbolic side, this can be seen as Emiya being a swordsmith, and that his skin is tanned from the fires that he works with. Emiya Alter's lore is that his skin is that dark because overuse of his unique magic has significantly darkened his skin, and a more design-based explanation could be that while normal Emiya's skin is tanned by the fires, Emiya Alter is actually burned by them. If Alter's explanation ended there, I wouldn't call it race-based, but continuing on, the designer for Emiya Alter actually said that the idea for this character came from, and I'm quoting this, "What if Emiya went to prison?"
Holy shit!
And apparently that meant, along with darker skin, he should have guns instead of swords and the freshest of cuts. That's actually so offensive in my mind that it honestly doubles back into hilarity. Like, picture some nerdy dude going into prison and coming out looking like DMX. Like, come on, normally a sign of power in anime is having more hair, but Emiya looks like he came out of a Detroit barbershop, speaking of which. Then there's the Detroit Emiya line that comes from an event in FGO that was probably written by someone completely different, and it does paint a rather interesting picture of at least some of the people in Delightworks in regards to how they see African Americans. Now, not saying that some of these creators could have never visited America and interacted with the population, but Detroit, Michigan? That's oddly specific. That's a city, it's not even a state. So yeah, I believe Emiya Alter is indeed a pretty racially charged character design, not Mr. Popo level, but yeah. With that said, I still don't like the idea of editing his appearance for the Western audience. And I'm not saying that because I don't see the character as potentially offensive, but simply as an extension of thinking that consumers should get an unaltered product when it's being translated to and from another language. Now, I'm flexible with that over things that don't make sense in a translated language, like jokes or puzzles depending on cultural knowledge, though I will always contest that one for American localization since our country is quote-unquote a melting pot of cultures and ideas. You would think we would relish the opportunity to learn about another culture. But for things that are culturally unacceptable and sensitive, no, I want the product warts and all. I don't want a sanitized version of it. Hell, if there was something just beyond the pale in my mind personally, I would not want to have it covered up. I would instead like to see it so I can make the decision if the overall product in question is worth it enough to roll my eyes and just deal, versus walking away from this service and giving my money elsewhere. Funny enough, this is also the reason I dislike the censorship of otaku things like fan service and lollies. I don't factor whether or not I like something to not want it censored. I just don't like censorship, especially censorship disguised as localization. We dealt with enough of that in the 90s. To be real, I'm not saying all this because I expect some outcry of censorship to change Aniplex's mind. No, the fact that all these Shinjuku NPs showed up on their official YouTube channel except Emiya Alters pretty much guarantees that his sprite is going through some changes like yesterday. But being all anti-censorship, it just kinda irked me to see some people cheering on the edits. And it didn't help that some people cheering it on will also say, but Aniplex better not touch my lollies. Abigail Williams coming up for NA, by the way. Helena Archer too. Who am I kidding? Aniplex knows that there will be riots in the street if they dare try to put pants on the lollies. Even if they don't edit him in-game, as unlikely as that is, it's kinda sad that people got this outraged over his design in my opinion, and it's even sadder that the thing that defines Emiya Alter is not the fact that his lore and personality symbolizes a man who threw away everything to fight humanity's threats, effectively following the very cursed path of justice that the father he idolized almost took in Fate Zero, but instead it's his skin color. Ugh. Man, this week has been shit for anime and gaming news. I'm going back to Senran Kagura now. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Maybe you think I'm wrong. That's cool too. This is just one guy's opinion after all. Heck, the person who I asked about the Japanese culture part also thinks these edits are fine. Though he'll probably just go back to the JP servers if they ever decide to cover up Kuro's nipples. And by the way, I just wanted to say, everything I said about localization and preservation of content and being able to personally decide whether or not something is too offensive to support, I 100% apply that to the recent Catherine controversy, but like hell am I poking that bee's nest, so I'll see you guys next time. Peace!